Hello and welcome. It's time to talk. I'm here with my buddy Tristan and
day.
myself, Tyron. And today what?
I said good day.
Today.
Yeah, because you said Tristan, and I said good day.
Okay. So today we're going to be discussing a few topics, mostly about tech. So today is going to be a tech-related video or podcast. That
Yeah.
won't be all though, right?
Yeah, no, in the future there'll definitely be other podcasts about other things, cars or anything else that is actually interesting to talk about at the moment.
Yeah. So pretty much what's going on now is a lot of tech-related stuff, I'm sure you know. So basically, to sum it up, we'll be discussing Xbox versus PlayStation and Threads, what's happening with Threads, and just a few other things as well. So let's get straight into this. So what do you think? What do you think we should go with first?
I suppose we could start off with the Xbox versus PlayStation debate, the debate that has been around since the early ages of gaming.
Yeah, console wars. It's still
Yeah.
happening. 2023. You guys think it's not happening? It's happening. Okay, console
Yeah.
wars is still a thing.
In your personal opinion, who do you side with, the PlayStation side or the Xbox side?
Wow. Look, I gotta give myself out. I did have an Xbox 360.
Yeah.
We all know the OG 360 was the best in its time. The PlayStation 3 was good. It had some really good exclusives, but unfortunately, couldn't beat Xbox with Halo, Forza. It was top tier.
And what did you start with? PS2. Very first.
Actually, yes. PS2
Yeah.
was the first that I started off. And then it was a Switch, so it was sort of like a betrayal. But then we came back, I came back at least, I sort of swerved back. And now I'm back into PlayStation. And ever since I've switched to PlayStation, I have been very much with PlayStation,
I
in heart and mind.
Now, I started PlayStation 2. After that, got the 360. And now I'm on the one.
Okay, but let's talk. Why did you start on the PlayStation 2? What started you? What is it? The games, or is it just the console itself?
My dad bought it for me for Christmas. I was very young at the time.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. That's what started it for me. Which I don't think really. I don't know if it was on any other console, but GTA San Andreas.
Okay, yeah.
That was. I don't know if it was on.
It's on PS2.
Was it? It wasn't. No, but was it on Xbox at the time?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not quite sure if it was, but I know everybody that had a PS2 had San Andreas. That was
Yes.
because it was of San Andreas. I know that, and Need for Speed was a big thing back in the day for PS2.
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, massive, and I
God of
mentioned
War, of course.
God of War. So there's a lot of titles with PlayStation, a lot of good exclusives, and that's really what draws you to PlayStation. But I think with Xbox, when Xbox released, I think it really more was the price that it came at. I think they were a
little bit cheaper.
For me, it was the
More
price.
affordable.
They were a lot more affordable when they released. And the thing was, there were really good games like Halo. I mean, who doesn't like Halo? We all enjoyed playing Halo. So it was kind of the goal was the Xbox. And I mean, they also played a lot of games that were...
Another thing that made the 360 take off was the Kinect. Because PlayStation didn't have that at the time. I think they have something similar to that now.
They
but
had you remember the ball, the thing with the ball on his hand, and it had a small little camera, but it wasn't as good as the Kinect.
Yeah.
Which the Kinect was amazing and all in its time, but I think it just wasn't. It just wasn't it, and that's why it died.
To me, I think the Kinect was one of the first steps into VR kind of thing.
Definitely, I agree. I mean, the Kinect was sort of it captured movement. The PlayStation took it with the movement of the hands. They wanted to capture, but the Kinect wanted to capture everything. You could kick a ball, or you could do, and sort of that's what made it sort of ahead of its time, you could say.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I remember playing a game on the Xbox 360 with the Kinect. It's like this jungle game or something, and then there's a whole obstacle course. You need to jump over this stuff and all of that.
Adventures?
I believe it's Adventures.
Adventures.
Yeah, which was also a good way to convince your parents at the time to get you an Xbox 360 with the Kinect because it's exercise.
Yeah.
So you're not just sitting playing games all day. You can do some exercise, jump while playing games.
Oh yeah, I think my favorite was the sports side, like the I don't know if you know the American football. They had a sports game and it was called American football. There's a story that I will find out if I can tell. I think I've told you the story before. It involves a friend hurting himself with the
I'm
Kinect.
not sure.
But yeah, so I'll see if I can tell that story. But anyway, like that was my favorite sport because like it had the whole movement. You had to run, like sprint, and then you also had to like kick a ball through the. I'm gonna sound very South African, but like the pala, yeah, the poles, you know,
The posts.
the posts. That's
Yeah.
it. There's the English word.
Yeah, but I must say one thing that PlayStation did have over Xbox in the beginning, in the PlayStation 3 times and the Xbox 360 times, was Xbox 360, you had to pay for Live Gold to play online.
Yeah,
PlayStation 3, if I remember correctly, you didn't have to pay anything to play online.
yeah. No, you
It
didn't
was free
have
to play.
most of it, I think, yeah, was pretty much free. I know there was something called PlayStation Network. There was something
Yeah.
like that, which I think also had something to do with online. But I don't think, because when I got my PS4, I remember a lot of games needing PlayStation Plus, but then also a lot of games that were like, you know, chilled. Like Apex was, you could play without PlayStation Plus. You could play Call of Duty, Warzone, Fortnite was one. So a lot of them did have free, whereas Xbox still had the and still has it as
Yeah.
the pay for online subscription.
The only thing is now, it's no longer going to be called Xbox Live Gold.
Ah, yes.
From the 14th of September, they are switching it to Xbox Game Pass Core. It's at the same, it's at the same price as Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah.
The only thing is you get a little bit more addition, so you'll still be able to play online, but you're also going to get additional 25 games that you can play. So it's not as big as the Game Pass or the Game Pass Ultimate where you have 300 plus games to play, but at least they're giving you a little bit more bang for your buck.
100%. I mean, if you're looking at it, you're paying 60, well, no, sorry, my bad, $80
$80 if you
for
round it
25 games.
Yeah.
25 games. So, I mean, it's a really good bargain because, I mean, $80, you know, is just not even maybe one game. Like, you'd probably get like a really garbage game for $80.
Yeah.
But now you're getting quite a catalog of games. But, you know, the one thing I find is, like, why couldn't you add, you know, the network side of things, being able to play online with that? I feel like it should have also been included in all the packages.
So on the Game Pass Core, the multiplayer online aspect is included.
But only if you pay extra.
No, for the 79 Rand, that's the...
Is that the extra R6 that they mentioned?
No, so the extra 6 Rand. So on the mybroadband.co.za, let's have a look here quickly. So the Game Pass Core will cost the same as Xbox Live Gold, currently priced at 79 Rand per month in South Africa. Alternatively, subscribers could put down an extra 6 Rand per month for Xbox Game Pass, which then includes the catalog for the 300 plus games.
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. So, like, when it comes to it, I think they've made a catalog that's based on getting a few games, then getting a whole catalog of games, and then getting the two combined with
Yes.
PlayStation Network.
Yeah, so if you go with the Game Pass Core, then you have the option of multiplayer with the 25 games catalog. But if you just want the ultimate, which is not the ultimate, the normal Game Pass is going to cost you 6 Rand more, but without being able to play online.
Yes, you'll be getting, but that's just going to be the games.
Just
now,
the
but
games.
All the whole catalog.
Yes. Now, if you want to play online as well with all those games, then you got to go for the ultimate, which is 129 Rand a month.
Yeah. Which it makes sense because it's still cheaper than PlayStation. because PlayStation is 129 Rand for the, I think it's 120, about there, for the PlayStation Plus. That's just to play online, and then you get 2 free games a month.
Okay.
And then to get the catalog, which is now pretty much a newish thing on PlayStation, which is also pretty cool, is that they've also added their own catalog of games. This is now PlayStation Plus Extra. So now you're paying 170 around there, and you're getting a full catalog of games, something like 400 or something, on PlayStation 4 and 5 games.
Okay.
And then you're also getting the online aspect of things. So
Okay.
it makes sense why Xbox is also around close to 120. I think 80 would be a bit cheap, but at the same time, I think they would do a lot better than PlayStation in this aspect if they were only costing $80, then getting online and the full catalog of games.
Yeah,
They're-
but I don't think they want to shoot themselves in the foot. That's why they're giving you for 80 Rand online and 25 games only.
So they're sort of trying to like push into where they've always been going is budget. You know, like for budget gamers. You know, not everyone can maybe afford $170. So yeah, I guess I get what you mean by that. Xbox, as we mentioned, always been the budget console.
Yeah.
They've always pushed for that.
Another good thing that they from the switching from Live Gold to the Game Pass Core is if you are already a Live Gold member, it will automatically switch over for you. They are unfortunately taking away the feature where they give you a free game that you get to keep. But I mean, at the cost of 25 games that you can play, I guess that's kind of a lose-win situation. It depends. The games that I've experienced that they used to give me weren't really anything that I was interested in playing. Whereas with the catalogs that they give you, it's a little bit more up-to-date games that you see YouTubers play and games that you actually want to play.
Yeah. Well, look here. That's another situation. Is it's what games they put on these catalogs. Like I've noticed, PlayStation has been doing hectic stuff, and they've been putting on some of their top games on their catalog, which is now games that cost like $1,000 that are just now that you can pay like $170, and now you get it for a full month. So this is a game which includes Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, which is a game I love. I love Horizon Zero Dawn, and that game is like I mentioned, it costs $1,200, and then now you just pay for the monthly fee and you got it, which is something I really like that PlayStation's done, and they've done it to quite a few games. I think also, I think Formula One, the new Formula One, has also been released there.
You're obsessed with Formula
Correct
One.
me if I'm wrong. I mean, but it's an expensive game. Yeah,
Yes.
there's the high prices, and then you're paying cheaper. It's a great deal that they're running through. And also another thing PlayStation has is what I think is a slightly ridiculous but also cool, is you can pay something close to $200, and then you get their highest package. I think it's a deluxe or something. I can't exactly remember the name, but then you're getting like a whole bunch of OG PlayStation games, like PlayStation 2, old, like really deep, God of War 1, 2, old Ratchet and Clanks. I think there's old Ratchet and Clanks in there, but there's quite a bit of old games, all these goodies in there. The classics. That's what I'm looking for. Classics. It's actually says when you search it up, it's like all the classics.
And for the older viewers, I know that those games might not be classics for you. Your classics are more like Super Mario Bros. And the Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But for our generation, those are classics.
Those are like the PlayStation classics.
Yeah.
Okay, because PlayStation wasn't always around,
Yeah.
Of course, Nintendo has always been there most of the time. So yeah, so pretty much that is how it's going with the PlayStation. And honestly, I think Xbox is stepping it up in terms of generating a bigger fan base, because now they're pulling in a lot more people that
Is it going to be enough for you to come to the green side?
Unfortunately not. The problem is PlayStation really takes over for me with exclusives. Things like Horizon Zero Dawn.
And what about Halo?
I loved Halo, and I still like Halo. But the thing is, because I have a PC, I can play Halo Infinite, and
Ah.
Halo Infinite isn't amazing. Like it's not as fun as it used to be because there's not a big enough player base on it right now. So the online servers are kind of like small and no one really plays it anymore. So it's sort of become like an old classic game that I really enjoyed. I don't know if you heard about Xbox releasing all the Call of Duty servers or opening them up again. They
No.
opened up all Black Ops 1s, 2s, Modern Warfare, all the old online servers have been open now. It's like there's a whole bunch of people on the servers.
Great is going to be full of modders.
Full. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's going to die out very quickly because the games were great back in the day. But as soon as you start playing them and realizing, like, graphics are down, the gameplay is sort of weird for our time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I find really interesting is how the times move on. Because if we speak to our parents, for example, they played, let's say, like Super Mario's, and at the time, the graphics were some of the, I wouldn't say the best, but for a game wise, it was like really good. Then you come to the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360, you play games like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and at those times, you see those graphics are,
Top
that's
notch.
the graphics.
Oh, yeah.
And then a few years later, then those become old. They start looking like pixels. It starts looking like Super Mario again and things like that as the times go on. It's so weird how we get used to a certain quality and then that's where we want to be.
Yeah, I've always believed, like, in my head, like, I always tell myself, like, if I'm ever thinking of playing an old classic, I'm just like, leave it as a memory because it's in my brain. It was amazing.
If
But
you try
going
to
back
come
to
back-
it, it's gonna create a new memory that you don't want.
Yeah.
So rather stick to the old memories that you have and just play those back because those really set a great thing inside your brain.
It actually wasn't that long ago when I started up my PS2 again. I popped in the San Andreas disc, and man, was I disappointed.
Even like
Yeah.
they did like a whole what you call it
Remastered.
remastered it. Even that was like
I haven't seen that one yet.
I watched some gameplay. It's pretty much very similar. The graphics are just slightly better.
No.
So yeah, it doesn't really do it justice as it used to. So yeah, keep it in the memory. Keep it. It's a good place. It's a good place.
Yeah. Well, talking about Threads, I think you know a little bit more about Threads than me.
Yeah.
Where's
whoa,
that going? How's that
jeez.
doing? I heard that they were one of the highest growing platforms at a stage, but how
Oh,
are they
yeah.
standing now?
Look, they grew heavily. I mean, what is it? 100 million users
In the
That's-
first week.
In the first, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's taken Twitter so long to build up their fan base, and then Threads just comes and it's like, yo, well, yeah, take this. So they
you
did
think-
really well.
Sorry, do you think that it would ever pass Twitter? That's also a big debate at the moment. Will Threads become the new Twitter?
Well, unfortunately, right now, definitely not. The problem is obviously it's not well built enough. Like the application itself, there's no Explorer page,
No trending
no
page.
trending page.
Yes.
So you can't really like find things that are like you're going. You really have. You're really only looking at what you're following in a sense.
Yeah.
And when you open it up at the basics, it's just showing you a lot of random rubbish that you don't want to know.
Okay.
So you're not really getting what you want when it's in terms of when you go to Twitter, you're getting what you want, but here you're not.
Latest news, all the spicy trends.
Exactly. And then you go into the page and it tells you like everything that's trending in like South Africa or trending here. And it tells you how many tweets it's getting. So like, the sort of stuff like that you sort of take for granted with Twitter. And, they have it and Threads don't. So unfortunately, it'll take a lot of time and a lot of effort on Mark Zuckerberg's side to get it to where Twitter is right now. So yeah, they've got a way to climb, but there are people are talking, and it is in discussion that it could actually be the new Twitter.
Okay.
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you yes or no. I don't really. From what I can see, to me, it feels like it might fail. But again, it is Mark Zuckerberg, and he brought a lot of applications to
WhatsApp,
life.
Facebook. Yeah.
So it is very hard to say. Like from my point of view, I could see it failing. But then again, you're looking at who owns it and the companies around it. It's very hard also to see it not fail.
Yeah,
So-
but and from the launch date, you mentioned that they have had like 100 million users in that. Compared to then, how is it doing now?
So yeah, so the news now is that it has dropped about around 70% of its active user base, which is now the amount of people that are actively using the application
Yeah.
at that moment. And 70%, it's big. I mean, so that's like what, between 30 to 40 million users online at the moment, and that's like, it's a lot still. It's still a lot, but I mean, it's a massive drop from 100 million. But it makes sense. It makes sense because a lot of people flooded it. And
They want to see what's going on. They heard about this new app. They want to go check it out.
It's like an accident, There's a lot of people that flood an accident to see, what's going on. But then after like 10 minutes, they know what's going on. Bugger off.
Yeah, time to go.
So
I'll stick to Twitter.
yeah. So it makes sense why it happened, and for it to still have that amount of people staying on it, which is a good thing, and it's a good sign to it as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Out of curiosity, compared to TikTok, how many users do you think are on TikTok?
Oh, definitely way more. But
let's have a
active
look.
monthly users? Are we talking active users?
Active.
Like right?
Let's do active.
Active, yeah.
Let's have a look. So
That's probably going to be a massive number.
how many active users are on TikTok?
No, I'm guessing about 150, 120. I'm just guessing. I very much don't know if it would be. I found a news article.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm having some technical difficulties here.
Maybe find another one, but this one it's pretty big.
Okay.
So TikTok has over 1.6 billion users globally,
Okay.
out of which 1.1 billion are its monthly active users as of 2023. So
That's a pretty good ratio, actually.
it's really, but this is now monthly active. So I'm not sure if with the situation with Threads is a monthly or at the moment active users. But I mean,
Well, they've only been open for, I think, a month.
Yeah.
Just less than a month, so it must be monthly. So.
Around there. But yeah, 1.1 billion. Yeah, that's way off. I was way off. That's a big number. But you take it like TikTok is just insanely big. And what's crazy is it's not even, I don't even think it's adding the Chinese TikTok, which is not even a normal TikTok. They have their own TikTok. And then India is banned. So they're a whole country that don't have TikTok.
Why is it banned in India?
You don't know it's banned in India?
No, I still see a lot of Indian TikToks.
Well, maybe not from India, but TikTok is banned in India. They banned it a little while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're out of the question as well. So for it to still have that amount is insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, Threads, I could see it going semi-well. I don't know if it would be the greatest sort of Twitter. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I struggle to see it just because of Twitter being on top and just being number one and just having that style that everybody wants and everybody knows and loves Twitter. It's a love-hate relationship, to be honest. People hate Twitter, but they love it too. It's just, it's weird. But I can't. But Mark Zuckerberg, you never know. You never know what that man will pull out of his hat.
The other thing to consider though is, where did you hear Threads? Where was the first time that you heard Threads? Was it on Facebook?
Well,
was it on news?
Social media, TikTok. I mean, I'm going to TikTok mostly. So a lot of people are like coming out like, yo, there's this new app and it connects to Instagram. So like you basically get your followers moved, a lot of them from Instagram to Threads. So it's sort of connected. And I was like, damn, that's cool, you know, because I have a
Yeah.
little bit of a following on Instagram. So I was like, yeah, cool. And then actually, when I started, I think I gained like close to 100 followers in the first day that I had Threads, which was insane. And I was like, geez, like, I mean, it's not a lot, it's 100 followers, but it was still cool, okay? It's more than I've ever had on Twitter in my life, okay? Don't even think I have like 5 followers on Twitter. I don't use it. But I thought I would enjoy Threads because I never got into Twitter. I never used it.
I also
never.
don't use Twitter. I
So-
have an account, but
Starting with something new and fresh, maybe I was like, maybe I could get into this. I think
good
the first thing
opportunity.
what do you would call it? I wanted to say tweet it out, but it's Threads.
Gonna thread it.
That I threaded is saying that maybe this will be my thing because Twitter was never my thing. So I was like, maybe this will be my thing, and I was like, I sort of messed with it for the first time, and I was like, cool, I'm posting stuff, and replying to other people's threads, and for a little while it was cool, but then I also just lost a little bit of interest in it, you know.
The first place I heard Threads was on my Google Home speaker. So that's another topic we're going to talk a little bit about today. We're going to talk about home ecosystems. But in the mornings, I ask my Google speaker to play me the news and all of that. So it was talking about how Kylie Jenner is on Threads and whatever. And then that's the first time I heard of it.
I must say, brands really rushed to it. Hey, like I got on there, and there were like thousands of brands already on there posting stuff, and I was like, geez. Like brands like switched quick. They were like, we're not falling on this. They were like,
Marketing teams.
Marketing
Sign
teams.
us up with Threads, else you're fired.
Yeah, it was going crazy. So I think a lot of like the activeness is also mostly from like brands as well, you know, because brands are really just trying to dip their feet in every pond they can, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty big thing. Yeah. So yeah, I see. I don't know what I'm seeing, but I'm seeing.
You're seeing it. Okay. Moving on to the topic of the ecosystems.
Yeah.
So we know there's mainly 2 types of ecosystems, and then one that's iffy. I'm not sure if you can really classify it as an ecosystem, but we've got the Apple, the Google, kind of like Android, you could call it, and then you've got the Alexa. The Alexa is a little bit more of it's just as far as I know and understand, it's a standalone speaker that you can use it to do certain things, but it links back to the Android ecosystem, you could say.
100%. Yeah, so pretty much, you know, there's a lot going on in these ecosystems, you know. I know, you know, you can set up in each room, you can have like you know, when you yell at it, you can
Yell at
you
it.
tell it to do what it needs to do. Turn on the light, Alexa. Hi Google, can you please put my toaster on? Because I don't know. Okay, is there a toaster that can? But
Yes.
that's another thing.
There's
is
a kettle too.
like ecosystems are huge. Like you get toasters now, freaking kettles, toothbrushes. I know there's Wyoming toothbrush that you could use. The vacuums, the little
Fans.
mini robots, fans.
Fans.
So it's a really big thing. I mean, imagine you don't have to get out of bed to turn your kettle on. You just be like, Alexa.
Well, not Alexa. I would say Google.
Yeah.
It's just we don't want to say the word because we have Android devices,
Okay, yeah.
and some of the viewers that are watching you might have, and now we don't want to trigger them, and then all of a sudden your house stand like my grandmother says, your house grows legs and walks away.
Oh yeah.
So we don't want to trigger any of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So pretty much you could just like sit in bed and you can yell at your device and just tell it to turn the kettle on, and then there you go. And when you get out of bed, your water's warm. You know,
Yeah.
done. So that's really what I like. That's where it's going. You know, at one point I think it's already possible. I'm not quite sure, but it probably is. It's where you could like just tell your house to unlock itself. So like when you like go to your door, it's already unlocked. You don't have to turn the key.
You can set it up to as soon as your phone connects to the Wi-Fi. So for example, if you have your Wi-Fi signal that reaches until your driveway, your front gate, as soon as your phone connects to the Wi-Fi signal, It can unlock your door for you so long. It can put the kettle on if you wanted to. It can turn certain lights on. It can turn your alarm off if you wanted to. There's a lot you can
There's
do.
a lot. And let me just point this out. How many of those products are Apple?
None that I know.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, think about it. Is there an Apple kettle? No. Is there
if
an
there
Apple
was-
toaster?
No. And if there was, be prepared to pay.
Oh yeah, be prepared to pay. Okay. So I'm just saying, to be honest, like a lot of it is going into like the Android world, like sort of coming from that side of things. So like Xiaomi making all of these products, they all.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. Is it Xiaomi, Xiaomi? What is
Xiaomi
it?
actually sounds like a pretty like
Xiaomi.
right way of saying it.
I-
But as far as I know, it's Xiaomi.
Or show
That's
me
the right
what-
way of saying it. This is from someone that I know works there, and he says Xiaomi.
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 Oh.
That. So
We'll just call it me.
but I say Xiaomi, like Xiaomi.
I
Like,
just say
it's like two
Xiaomi.
syllables, you know. So yeah, but anyway, they've got a lot of products. Yeah, I mean, there's also Ring that has a lot of products. Like they are more security wise. You got the cameras that are doorbells and all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of companies out there bringing out some crazy, like things that are adding to the ecosystem.
Let alone you've got Google themselves, Google speakers, Google Mini.
Yeah, Google's got a lot going on in this as well.
Oh.
But yeah, I see this becoming a bigger and bigger thing. I would like to do it one day, is to start a build up in that sense. Xiaomi, hit me up if you if you want some people to review. I'm tired tech, so yeah, I can review some products for you there. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it makes sense to go in that direction because it's expensive. Let's not take that away from it.
It's expensive to start it.
Yeah.
To get it going. But I mean, once you have it, it's convenient. So my dad has automated our house, you could say. So we have a little ecosystem at our house. And I can tell you there's a lot of perks to it. So for the simplest example I can get is, let's say you are laying in bed already, but you forgot the kitchen light on. Now you got to get out of bed, especially in winter. You got to get out of bed, you got to walk to the kitchen, turn the switch off. Whereas if your house is automated, you can just lay in your bed and say the trigger word and say turn off kitchen light, and it turns it off.
It's crazy. I think this is actually both good and bad. I have like this whole thing I also think about a lot, and it was actually brought up the other day by a TikToker that I watch quite often, Car PCs. I think it was on his second account, but he brought up that technology is turning us into vegetables.
Another thing it's doing.
Yeah, continue.
Another thing that it's doing that people or doctors, I think it's like psychologists have mentioned, is technology, especially like Google speakers, Alexas, all of those things are making kids rude. Because when you tell your speaker to turn a light on, you don't say, please turn on the light. You just say, turn on the light. So now what kids are doing is they're learning to talk like that to people as well. So they, instead of asking, may I please have a piece of chocolate, they'll say, give me a piece of chocolate. Or something like that. Just because that's how they're used to talking to technology. It's not that, okay, you do get some rude and disrespectful kids out there, but it's not necessarily that those kids are being rude and disrespectful. It's just because they've grown up in a tech environment of where you don't have to say please and thank you. It's not like after the speaker has turned off your light that you're going to say thank you. You just want it to be done.
Yes. That makes sense. That makes a giant load of sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, it would be less for company to have to add that whole thing of saying please, it would make it less convenient. And that's a bad way of putting it. It's not saying please is inconvenient. That sounds terrible. But yeah, that's just saying turn on kettle would be a better way for it to pick up and understand what
A
you
command.
say.
Yeah. So see, with the speakers, you're commanding it to do something. In life, when you're talking to humans, if 9 out of 10 times, if you command someone to do it, I'm the type of person. If you command me to do something, you're gonna struggle to get it out of me. Ask me politely.
Cool.
Yes. I'm not a speaker. You don't command me to do something.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I get where that takes the kids. But also like going into the vegetable side, I mean, also making people lazy now.
Yes.
Like kids are becoming more and more lazy as well during, I don't know, there's no study about this. Maybe there is, there probably is, but for me especially as well, I mean, there's a new feature, this was discussed by Car PCs, which I also was like, yeah, this is so true. TikTok released a feature where now you can auto scroll. Now we all know how we get lost in our phones, like we scroll and you get lost for like an hour scrolling. And it was brought up that, scrolling is the one thing we have, it's the one movement we have. So using our thumb to
exercises
scroll.
this muscle.
Exactly.
Look how big it is from scrolling all day.
It gets some exercise, And now that we can auto scroll, you don't even have to freaking scroll anymore. You just look at it and you're like, yeah, watch the video complete and then skips to the other one. Go. It's crazy. And then another feature they also added, Samsung could do it already, but it's pretty much makes it smaller into a small corner screen so that you can use other apps while watching TikTok. So now we're becoming mind controlled by TikTok because we're just watching that all day. So we are becoming vegetables.
That is not something I would use for TikTok. I understand for YouTube having the mini player in the corner because maybe you're doing something, you're trying to figure it out, then you can have the video in the corner so while you're figuring it out. But for TikToks...
The thing is, TikTok is made to capture your attention. Like when something pops up, someone starts yelling just to get your attention, because that's how TikTok works now. So, it's something you have to focus on because like they're bringing up and it's so fast paced and they're showing things like so quickly. It's not like a YouTube video where it's there, Linus Tech explaining something, but he's explaining in full detail and so you're like, you're not focusing that much. You're listening to the voice. But TikTok's it's a different story. So I get,
Yeah, so I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but another thing that TikTok does is mess with humans' emotional side of the brain. The human brain is not made to process so many emotions at a different time. For example, TikTok, you watch a sad video, then next comes a happy video, so now you're happy. Then a sad video comes on, and you're sad again. So your brain is doing this the whole time, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad. What is that doing to your neurological side of your brain?
I get what you mean.
And your hormones.
They can really mess around with emotions. Like, I don't know, it's maybe we'll start developing bipolar on our own or something, because of this thing. But yeah, I get what you mean. It does mess around quite a bit with your emotions. Emotions.
Well, moving back to the topic of home automation, how many products do you know of come from Apple that can help you set up an ecosystem in your house?
iPad. Laptop. Oh wait, no. MacBook.
Yeah.
MacBook. iPad. Phone. iPhone 14. iPhone 15.
Okay.
Watch. Apple Watch. But that's just basic phone
Apple
stuff.
TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
But that's just the basics, like your basics we have today, like of Samsung could, also has their own Samsung TVs, they have their own Samsung phones, they have their own tablets, they have their own watches. So, Apple doesn't have anything that other companies don't. You get what I'm saying? They don't have anything else. But there are companies out there that have what they don't, like Xiaomi, for example, has what Samsung and Apple don't have. And, so Apple, they very much people praise them and like they're good basic products. I mean, a lot of shit for that. I should not say basic because people will be like, it's not basic. It's an amazing product. So like,
Actually, it is basic if you think about it. An Apple device is a device you're gonna get when you just want something to work.
yeah.
If you just want to use something, you have this many apps that you can use and you just use it. If you want to use your brain a little bit more, go more deeper into tech, Android,
Android.
because you can sideload things
Yeah.
without having to jailbreak your phone.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much Apple is the main go-to for people that, don't want anything more than just what they
phone.
need.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's where other brands really start to take over. And I get the war. I get that Apple's great and all, but you can't say it's the best. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Please don't get aggressive, Apple. We're just stating our opinions, freedom of speech.
It's okay. I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting an iPhone for a while. The only problem is that I'm gonna lose a lot of freedom with
Yeah.
it. I must say the displays and the cameras on iPhones are good. Even though Samsung makes Apple screens, there's just something about an iPhone screen that just looks better.
Well, the newer ones. Unfortunately, I know from the 12 under, you can get OLED. Like I think maybe the 12. I think the 12 Pro has OLED. iPhone 12. So you never. My phone is the S20, which is older, which is about like the same level as the iPhone 11, 10, and they never had OLED displays. Samsung had OLED. So that's really that time. Samsung did have way better like displays. Like maybe they had like there's something that added a bit more color, but I know only after the 12 did we get OLED screens. So yeah, but they are good. I must say I've seen a 14 on display and jeez. But then again, we also have a S23, which probably also got a really good display.
Yeah. Yeah, this home automation has kind of turned into a Apple versus Android altercation. We've gone off topic slightly.
But it's a serious matter.
Yeah, it's something that needs to be discussed. So this podcast episode has been a very versus episode. So
Yeah.
Xbox versus PlayStation, Android versus iPhone, Threads versus Twitter versus TikTok.
It's been a mess.
This has been a versus episode. Yeah.
I like messes. Yeah, so it was a great episode. We discussed a lot, recapping, like you said, PlayStation versus Xbox, Threads, and also the ecosystems, which then led into Samsung versus Apple.
Yeah, just to finish off the topic of ecosystems, if you want to start a home ecosystem, we recommend going the Google or the Android route.
Yeah.
Because the Apple route, there's not that many things that you can add into your ecosystem. Whereas Android will be a lot easier to find things. You'll see everything will just gel better than everything will gel with an Apple TV or MacBook or iPad or something like that. So if you are looking at to do an ecosystem, my opinion, I'm sure it's Tyron's opinion as well, is go more into the Android, the Google wise, something like that.
Yeah, and if you do prefer a certain Apple product like the iPad, which we all know is the best at being an iPad and being a tablet. So iPad is the best of the best.
The iPad is the best at being an iPad.
It's just facts, okay? So yeah, so if you want to include that, Google allows you to include Apple products with certain with their applications. So it's not the end of the world if you want to add an Apple product. You see?
Yeah, I have an iPad and it's incorporated into our Google ecosystem. So yeah.
Anyway, that's it for today then. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed, and this is an official goodbye. See you in the next podcast.
Cheers.